right, just coming back from an all-day meeting with Barbara Yoder and Cindy Williams and some other bunch of other people that are connected with her, and is great. But I'm driving home, or actually driving to meet some friends from Colorado at the Art Institute, and so I've got a little time to talk here. I want to hit on the topic of prayer and the idea of wasting time in prayer. Now, I'd encourage you to listen to my teaching from last Sunday. Just go to media.johnburton.net and listen to the teaching called Prophetic Authority, and you'll hear a lot more about this topic there. And this Sunday I'm going to be teaching part 2 of that, so you don't want to miss it. But there's a way that we can pray ourselves right out of breakthrough. And you know, in a day when you know, we certainly need more prayer, not less. It sounds strange that we'd be, you know, I try to encourage people that, you know, not to pray, but there's definitely a way to pray ourselves out of a manifestation of what we're contending for. In fact, I think it happens a lot. The issue is when our prayer is fueled by doubt and unbelief, then what's coming out of our mouth is doing damage. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. There's power of life and death in the tongue. And so, if we're speaking out something that has doubt and unbelief to it, inherent in it, then we are releasing that, and we're canceling out the desires that God has put in our heart and the plans that He has. You know, and so there is definitely a time to keep your mouth shut and not to pray at all. You know, we don't want to be in a place, you know, I would say this, I would say, you know, a large percentage, you know, for a lot of people of their prayer is fueled by doubt. And so what happens, in order to spiritualize it, and trust me, I think we've all been there. To spiritualize it, we turn that doubt, we try to kind of twist it a little bit, kind of tweak it into contending. And so now we may not have faith that something's going to happen. The unbelief might be really hitting us. So we oomph it up and we really start contending and you know, cheering God on and come on God and let's see. And what happens is now we're contending. Now we've just raised the level of our unbelief. You know? And so God's corrected me, you know, on this issue many, many times. But I believe we're going to see a great advance, you know, in our own personal prayer lives and corporate prayer as we pray from a position of confidence, just confidence. Like, yeah, I'm absolutely confident that such and such is on God's heart, so I'm gonna release that. I'm gonna declare that. I'm coming into agreement with that. I want more revelation on that. And then as we do that, there's no doubt at all. Then everything changes. Everything changes. And you know, a recent example, and I shared this there at Barbara Yoder's, and I've shared this before, is I was in the bathroom and just felt the presence of the Lord just filled that room like crazy. It was unexpected. I wasn't praying. I wasn't doing anything. All of a sudden, there's God. And I'm like, wow, what in the world happened? And it kept getting stronger. So I thought, wow, you know, the presence of the Lord is here. God's here. This is a really, really good time to let my request be known. And so I started, and I had financial, you know, it's almost always finances, isn't it? So I had a financial issue on my mind, and I was going to go ahead and ask Him for financial breakthrough and contend for that. But His presence kept increasing. And all of a sudden, I was simply convinced of His plans. And His plans were to prosper us. I was without question convinced. And I knew in that moment that if I launched into asking Him for it, it would be a revelation of my unbelief. why would you ask for something if it's already been promised to you? But it makes no sense at all. No, it doesn't even make logical sense. And so if I were to actually ask him, that means that there would be a measure of doubt that the provision was going to be there. I mean, I hope that makes sense. I hope it's clear. There are times that we aren't maybe convinced just because we don't have enough revelation. So then we have some dialogue with the Lord. But when God's speaking so clearly, and especially in the Bible, when the Bible already declares that our needs are going to be met, why would we ask for something? The only reason we would ask is if we have a measure of unbelief. So I didn't ask. I did spend another second on the idea of finances, and I just basked in his presence. That very day, moments later, maybe, I don't know how long, an hour later, maybe 2 hours, we got a check in the mail. You know, you always want the check in the mail. Well, we got one from someone we didn't know hardly at all for $2,000. And then, later that day, from another source, $3,000. So here's the lesson. The money came in because I embraced faith and I didn't pray out of a position of unbelief. I believe that if I would have embraced unbelief and I would have kicked into asking God for something that he already promised, my guess is the money would not have come as planned. And so, very interesting stuff, but I encourage you to really grow in confidence in the Lord and what he's speaking to you and what he's doing. And you know, faith is a huge, huge deal. So, anyway, great things going on. Can't wait to see you Sunday. And if you're not in the Detroit area, I'll get the teaching up as soon as I can next week. All right? Talk to you soon. Let me know what you think. Email me, john@johnburton.net. Bye.